Kira. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krišna, dragi bakte, hvala lepa, da ste prišli. Torej, še enkrat danes bomo slavili dan pojavitve His Holiness Bhakti-Tirtha Swami Maharaj, njegove milosti Šrila Bhakti-Tirtha Swami Maharaja. Pa bom najprej pokazal kakšen filmček, prepričan sem, da ga vsi poznate. Vidim, tle so same že poznani obrazi, tako da nobenega novega. Is there anybody who never came in touch with His Holiness Bhakti-Tirtha Swami Maharaj or don't know him at all? Okay. Are you familiar with His Holiness Bhakti-Tirtha Swami Maharaj? All right. So, thank you. So His Holiness Bhakti-Tirtha Swami Maharaj, he appeared in Cleveland, America, materially speaking, and later became a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And you could say he is one of the most dear gurus, Srila Prabhupada, who made this world a little bit brighter, especially by his preaching, his showing mercy to so many fallen souls, among them also to myself. So I can explain my small personal experience. I was very fortunate to come across His Holiness. It was in year 2000 in Croatia summer camp. And at that time, being a young devotee, more kind of curious what is bhakti-yoga than really kind of devotee. It was a summer camp in Teshalerna, like a spiritual summer camp. I'm sure many of you have been there, correct? You remember the summer camps in Croatia? Yes? Yeah. So my first experiences with bhakti-yoga at the time were very simple. I would just camp in a tent right in front of the big tent, which was a temple room, and in the morning I would wake up by the sound of Mangalarati. Of course, you know what's Mangalarati. Open the tent, and there I was, in a tent, from small tent to big tent, next door, not even taking shower or any concerns of any cleanliness, whatever. And yes, there were many gurus, and who is this mysterious guru, looks like coming from Africa, and speaking so nicely and reaching right to my heart. That time I had many problems, as usually material world is a place of problems. And it just, how we say, hit the nail, It was my first experience. Yeah, what to say. And then very soon I was fortunate enough to hear his classes. He would give a lot of stress to building of Vaishnava communities, lot of stress on working on our relationships, not just with our partners, friends, but especially among devotees as members of community, and protection of children and women in Krishna consciousness. So he was, I would say, very much in front of time for that period. Therefore, sometimes he's been even misunderstood, maybe even by some of his god brothers, god sisters. So he was very advanced, and not sometimes when you're doing something very revolutionary, you might not be accepted so easily by everybody. But his legacy is there. He founded the He founded IFEST, so the International Institute for Applied Spiritual Technology. Yeah, Institute for Applied Spiritual Technology, or IFAST, acronym, where the idea was he was very expert in how to digest this spiritual knowledge like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and so on, and make it very easy to accept, very digestible for people of all walks of life, especially for professionals who, they said personally, they would never maybe say yes to Krishna consciousness, but because it was presented in such a way, in such a time, place, circumstance, right way, as in through some seminars or through his books. Gurudev wrote many books, and they were very easy to digest, and they were written really for wide range of public, no matter from what background people are coming, whether they were religious, not religious, or even for other religions. And it was written in a very, very non-sectarian way, in a kind of neutral way, so that everybody could reach to this essence. Somebody might say, bridge preaching or whatever way you want to take it, but it's really special. And many, high, well-paid professionals, they joined because of Gurudev, of course, also of course of Prabhupada bringing all this knowledge to the West. But it was Gurudev who knew how to touch their hearts, how to bring them closer to Krishna consciousness and make them say yes. Well, I would like to show a few videos and then maybe also comment later. All right? That's okay? Yeah. Thank you very much.
It will be good that we start with the videos and then we can start a discussion. Probably most of us are affected with His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj, and he inspired and encouraged us in our service. So it will be great that we open a little brief discussion after these short videos, so that we can somehow invite Bhakti Maharaj in our hearts and mind, and that we can associate with him in that way and ask him for his blessing and mercy, so that we can be in his mission followers and take shelter at his lotus feet. Thank you.
So Krishna consciousness is somewhat different in that it gives mankind the oldest spiritual scriptures on the entire planet.
Hare Krishna. So I would like to summarize a little bit. You could see how Gurudev is basically giving a talk on, you could say, interfaith approach, how to sum up the essence. So he's mentioning different religions and everything. And of course, if you compare each of them separately, you might say, okay, these are differences, these are different differences. But no, you take the common thing. So he took the common thing of chanting the holy names. And he mentioned different scriptures from Quran, Bible, and so on, so on. And he brought this essence of, he brought forward this essence of calling the Lord's holy names. And so this always, the idea is, what's the common ground? What's the common about all the spiritual traditions around the world? And he presented them. So if I'm correct, this was in Nairobi, right? So this talk was given in Nairobi, that's in Kenya. And as you know, in Africa, there used to be apartheid. It's like this racial discrimination. And even to have, you know, like black people and white people together, and especially doing some spiritual things, projects, it's like unheard of. And now he gave this strong point of showing, taking that political leader and showing immediately, you see these people from all over the world, he's white boy, black boy, and so on, so on. And they're working together, and there's no this discrimination. So that pointing out that solution to all these problems, which are still up till today, to some degree present in Africa, you know, this racism and so on. The solution is the common ground of Krishna consciousness, the common ground of consciousness, where everybody understands that he no longer belongs to any particular denomination, any particular race, any particular color of body, and so on, so on. But he's a devotee of the Lord. He's a servant of the God. Yeah? So this was a very powerful speech. So you got some glimpse of His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj's classes.
First of all, ask you, Your Grace, this is not your first visit to Sierra Leone, so why are you here now?
I'm completing a world tour. I left my headquarters in Washington last year, and I'm visiting many of the West African countries, and then I'll be going on to India in about a month, and then back to the U.S. My visit is mainly about a fourfold purpose. First, I'm visiting with many other religious leaders. Second, I'm having a chance to give many lectures at some of the universities, some of the metaphysical organizations. I'm having also a chance to meet many of the political and academic leaders of each country. We're constantly trying to emphasize how people can play a greater role in nation building from a spiritual perspective, and how to address some of the national and world order problems that is facing humankind at this time. And of course, my duty as a Swami, as a guru, I'm visiting many of our own monasteries, trying to see how our devotees are doing, if our priests and priestesses are being faithful, to the mission that they're responsible for, to see how they're extending themselves to help people to know more that God is about love and peace. And also to see what role they're playing in some of the social welfare concerns, of each country.
I see you were born John Favors. You don't use that name anymore?
I use the name. I have many names because my background is very diversified. I'm a psychologist, I'm an academician, I'm a scholar of international law, as well as a priest. So according to what environment I'm in, then people call me a different name. I'm also, as you said, an African chief in some of the African countries. So all of these names are just part of some small categorizations.
Your Grace, you were born into a God-fearing family in the United States of America. And in fact, as a child, you appeared on television to preach Christianity. Now, how come you are now in the Hare-Krishna religion?
I think that is the reason. My life has always been about trying to serve God in a deeper perspective. So if we look close, we can see sometimes there's a difference between what the prophets taught and did, and often what people have construed or interpreted. So one thing very special about the Hare Krishna teachings is that we follow what is called the Vedic teachings. The Vedas is known by historians, by linguists and philosophers as some of the oldest spiritual scriptures on the entire planet. They were written far before the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah. And they are many times more encyclopedic. It says many of the questions you opened up with are very distinctly clarified in the Vedic teachings. The Krishna conscious movement explains very thoroughly about life after death. It gives tremendous information about life on other planets. It helps a person to see how there is one God. See, you may call God, or I may call God, or other people, we may have different names. Some people, according to their religious tradition, they refer to God as Allah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah, or as we do as Krishna. But it's the same one God. If we look around the world, most religious practitioners practice their religion as if God is only for them. Now God, being the Father of everyone, being most holistic, cannot really be appreciated from a myopic or from a sectarian perspective. If we're trying to understand God deeply, we also have to be more wholesome. So the Krishna teachings help us to appreciate all the bona fide prophets and to see how they came according to different time, place, and circumstances, but how they are representing the same God. So people all over the world, we have millions and millions of followers in every continent, in every race, almost every tribe, and we have people who are Christians, ministers, bishops, imams, metaphysicians of many different systems, who particularly take shelter of some of our teachings and sometimes join us as full-time priests themselves because they are very excited by the depth of philosophical understandings that they can acquire from studying, with
Why does Ukraine deserve to?
No Ukraine, no? Oh yeah, maybe this one, huh? King of Kirtan. So you can see here again, some points came again about interfaith, about finding the common essence of all religion, about chanting the Lord's holy name, about glorifying the Lord by His name. And his, how to say, very eclectic view on everything. He could